Okay, we're here.
Hello, hello. We're back.
Hi, everybody.
We're back, and we are kind of in a mood or something, right, Lauren?
Yeah, we're back with another a live recording of our podcast. So welcome everybody. Um, generally speaking, we usually we kind of continue the conversation. The idea of the podcast is to have this ongoing conversation about art. And all of its amazing aspects. Today, Lisa and I are feeling like a little blech. So I thought of the question, like what can you do when you're feeling uninspired to take an art break? So it's for folks out there who, like Lisa and myself, know the power of an art break and want to make it part of their daily life. But you have those days, everybody does, where you're just like, ugh, yeah, no, I'm not into this. So, what can someone do, Lisa, when they're just not feeling inspired to take an art break? What would you suggest they do?
Yeah, well, one thing comes up is like, taking an art break is a practice. It's a daily practice. So though it's okay that you're not inspired. It's okay we're not inspired. But you have to kind of push your way through it. I heard today that you don't try it, you do it. You know what I mean? It's almost like the word try should kind of get out of your vocabulary and just kind of do it and see what happens from there. I mean, I think what you're also talking about on some level, if these are art breakers that have a daily practice and all of a sudden they have a creative burnout, are we kind of talking about that in a way?
Yeah, I think so because
Mhm.
this is for this. Yeah, so it's like when because this is how you can get out of that habit of taking an art break is that it's you hit that wall. I mean, if we're talking about art breaks being that part of a healthy lifestyle, so it's very similar to taking the time to prepare a healthy meal and taking the time to exercise. How many people out there are like, no, I'm going to get takeout tonight? And how many people are like, oh, I can skip this, I can skip tonight. And I would say, sure, you can. You can definitely skip a night of, eating right and exercising and taking an art break. But, um, you know, like, how can we get those folks to get back into that routine?
Well, I have some ideas. Make sure like you either have a station for your art or your art supplies are ready, like they're available. Like, so you see them. So you kind of walk by them every day. Maybe it's a special place,
Uh,
um, or they're accessible. I think also another cool one is I remember this was an undergrad. I think it was for a design course, but she was like collect images, meaning not pictures, but collect images from like magazines and kind of have a shoebox full of them. So when you need inspiration, you kind of page through them and go, whoa, and that kind of can inspire what you want to create. I thought that was a good one.
oh, I like that. Yeah, that's what I was, that was sort of what came to mind for me is the first thing that I would do. And, it's sort of like a I'm feeling lazy art break, which would be, essentially you would just look at art. And so you could have an artwork that you go to, that you sort of plan ahead, that you're going to have those days where you're not feeling inspired to actually sit
Mhm.
down at that space that you make for yourself, and you look at that painting, or you look at that photograph, or you look at that vase, or whatever it is, that sculpture. Or you could have a spot in your backyard that you go to, and that could be interesting because that will change for some people as
Mhm.
seasons change. So you could plan ahead for being uninspired, which feels kind of funny to say, but everybody knows that happens. you know
Mhm.
and so if it kind of hits you by surprise, then what you could do instead is you could, I don't know, Google a color and kind of look at, you know or Google the words feeling uninspired. I've done that before. Like, I'm feeling, don't, inspire me, and just seeing like what other people have to offer. and take an art break in that way. And you'll leave with something, you're not going to end up with nothing. You'll have accomplished something.
But also, I think that taking an art break is an experiment. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not, of course, it's process. So it's not the end product. So if you feel uninspired, that means that's kind of like a challenge or something to discover about yourself. Like, why am I feeling uninspired? And you can even do an art break around that, like even like kind of diving deep into well, what is it? Or am I tired? Is it the news? Is it my kids? Is
Yeah.
it what's loading up on me that I'm just kind of going blah?
Yeah.
I mean, you can just go outside and look at the sky, and that's inspirational to shift your mind. You got to shift the state of what you're in, but also accept the state of being uninspired. Like today, I'm going to create an uninspired artwork. Wow. Think about that.
Right. Yeah. So I love that. So you
Mhm.
kind of have, I mean, it's basically, it's getting rid of that idea that you have to feel inspired in order to take an art break. You don't have to feel inspired in order to take an art break. You can still kind of take an art break. Right. And I think that's a great point to make, that I think we get stuck in this whole thing, where you have to love every minute of it,
Mhm.
and I think people have that sense of art, that it's this like we all kumbaya, and it's like we hug and stuff all the time. And definitely that's that's happening quite a bit, but it's like, it's not always about that, and I think that a lot of it is about confronting those things that you'd rather push to the side, right? Or that you have been pushing to the side, most of the time not on purpose, and so it brings that stuff forward, and for you to sort of examine. So I love that, like entering the art break saying, why do I not feel like doing this today? Ask yourself that question. Or like, what does uninspired look like? Like, what colors does uninspire
To you, yeah.
tell you to use? What shapes does it tell you to use? I also would think, if you are someone who is regularly doing this, and you have been doing this for a while, and it's just one of those, like, I really want to do this, but I'm feeling uninspired, I would say just to change up your art materials that you're using, and maybe kind of challenge yourself a little bit. So if you're like regularly painting on a daily basis, and you walk up to that canvas and you're just like, nah, I just don't feel like working on this, then you might want to turn to stacking rocks outside, or collecting, collages or something, opening that box of images and gluing them on a piece of paper, something like that.
Yeah. Also, I think it's important to have a community of some sort, maybe a couple friends or a bigger community. Like we have the Art Break Day community, something that maybe you can shoot out, even if it's on social media, that you can be like, you need inspiration or you need energy. And then the one thing that I've noticed in my life is non-inspiration is very fleeting. Like it's rare that I have a day that I'm like, whole day is like, I'm so uninspired. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a day like that, because it's like you're kind of in a funky mood and you're like, I don't feel like doing this today or whatever. But something happens and then you shift, right?
Mhm.
And then you kind of either you go through it, or I always say that gratitude practice is amazing. Just write things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Nature, I mean, think about what does inspire you, like beyond making art, and go towards those and almost use those as like plugging into it like a electric vehicle. You need
Yeah.
to plug into whatever inspires you outside of the realm of art.
I
So
love that. So you could just take an art break and write down things that do inspire you.
yeah.
And that's a perfect art break to take when you're feeling uninspired, you know.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, I think the first step is to kind of understand that it's bound to happen, and that it's not something that no one else has ever experienced, that it happens to everybody, and that it's normal, and that you just and you could just walk away for the day, and that like, don't judge yourself,
Right.
because that's definitely walking away with a negative effect, but also if you do find yourself doing that thing where you push the art break to the end of your list on a daily basis, and then you never get to the bottom of your list, sort of need to re-examine your list. Because if you're adding taking art break to your list, then you already know that it's necessary. You don't need to listen to our other podcasts where we're trying to convince you to take an art break. You've already been convinced, you've already done it, you've gone through that transformation of the beauty of making art part of your daily life. But you also know how easy it is to push those things that take care of you so well to the bottom of your priority list. And you have to, maybe spend 15 minutes rewriting your list. Like Lisa always says, you need to add it into your schedule. I mean, that's just kind of how humans are right now, right? As we live by the schedule. And so if that's the way it is, then that's the way it is. You just accept it, and you add the self-care into the schedule, or add the spontaneity into your schedule, which sounds so funny, but you can actually do that. I think, like, don't judge yourself, take it easy, but take the time to reflect,
Learn from it, grow from it. And also, like I was thinking, sometimes I'm like, an art break, like I'm not doing it, but I am doing it. Like when I'm writing in my journal in the morning and I draw a star or I draw a spiral, that's an art break, So I think, like you said, I think humans always have like we always have big ideas about what it is, when art breaking is a very small, step by step. It's a very subtle process, and it leads up to bigger things. But this is, I think that's what art breaking is. It's a subtle activity that you do during the day that shifts you.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could take, that's what, since we align it with exercise and eating right so often to try to get people into that mental state of what an art break really is about, right? It's about taking care of yourself mentally. So you can do it. What they suggest for exercising when you're starting to exercise for the first time is like, look, half an hour can be super daunting for someone who hasn't kind of jumped on that and gotten used to that. So break it up, and so that's what you could do with your art break. Just like Lisa said, you could journal for 5 minutes and then just be like, okay. And then, a couple hours later, journal some more for 5 minutes. It doesn't all have to be for that sit down for 15 minutes. Because, like, honestly, something is better than nothing.
Right.
A 5-minute art break is so much more beneficial than a 0-minute art break, And so it's like, if you have a day where you can only put in 5 minutes, then put in the 5 minutes. If you have a day where you can't do it for 30 minutes straight, then break it up into 3 10-minute sessions. And then by the end of the day, you have your 30 minutes of art breaking to, kind of reflect on, and you'll be the better for it, So.
Yeah. And to reiterate, we always say this, but like, okay, you open into the art break like, man, I'm uninspired, I don't want to do this, right? But you decide to forge through it, and then when you get to the other side, really, really, really check into yourself and go, like, I did that last night, I haven't painted for a while, right? And then it's like 9:45, and I'm like, I really want to get that paintbrush out and just paint. And after it, I was like, I breathed in a relief, going, oh yeah, it's almost, you go, oh yeah, that's what it is,
Right. It's really easy to forget how much it actually takes care of you until, that's the difficulty you and I often run into, is that it's not something that you can just talk about with someone. They have to experience it, right? And even someone who has experienced it before will easily forget how wonderful it feels. I mean, like, you and I talk about this every single year after Art Break Day, is like, work so hard up to art break day and we're just like, like so tired. And then art break day comes and we realize that's what we're doing it for. That's, again, we're reminded of how magical it is to, have all these people come together and connect to this act of making art. And then it's that reminder, and that like pushes us in for the 364 following days, right? And
Yeah.
you just have to sometimes you just have to push through and do it. Sometimes you have to take a break from it and come back the next day, or you can break it up into segments or use other people as inspiration. Like if you have a favorite artist, I would say just like go and look at their work. If you have or like a book or songs. I love to listen to music when you could listen to music based on mood. Like if you could look for music that does inspire you, or music for when you're just feeling uninspired, that melancholy music. Sometimes I just do that.
Yeah.
There's, hopefully that gives people some quick kind of things they can do when they're feeling uninspired about taking an art break.
Just to end with that, I love that because I do that in some of my workshops. I play like a real upbeat music, and then I play like the Lord of the Rings, like in the fight scene music, and then I play like kind of like an angelic music. And then that's a really easy art break because you're listening to music, you're kind of moving your body, you're moving your pencil or you're moving your paintbrush, but you're really not thinking, you're going with the music. And I think that is like, it just opens up to, oh yeah, I can breathe. Now I feel inspired. So yeah.
Totally. I love it. I want to just say a quick hi to Beth Benson. She said that Visible Ready art supplies is a definite inspiration for me. So she does that. She leaves out her art supplies to kind of remind herself, oh yeah, take that art break, take care of yourself. So just a quick hey to her. And thanks for listening. And I hope that was inspiring for folks who are looking for an inspiration on those days that they're just kind of trugging along, right? I mean, we all have those days. Lisa and I are having one of those days right now, but now I feel a lot better after going through all those reasons or those easy kind of, ways to work around your uninspired feelings or just kind of be in them, right? There's so many choices. That's what's, again, what's so wonderful about art is you have so many choices. You can be in the on inspiration and kind of work through that. You can just push through it, or you can wait it out. A lot of people do that with their own art, right? You just like if you just wait out, come back to it the next day. You can look for inspiration. There's just so many things you can do. So yeah.
I love it. And just to add the last thing, I love that what Beth kind of underlined, leaving the art supplies out, which I kind of said, but it's calling to you. You know what I mean? There's something to, when you have your art supplies around, they're like, hey, come play with me. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's really part of it, is like have things available and, try not to get stuck into excuses. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's an easy pattern to get into. And then, well, if anybody else has any ideas of what you can do on those days you're not feeling inspired, leave a comment or send us an email or whatever. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Be inspired.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.